is going on, guys? Fences is directed by and also stars Denzel Washington and stars as well Viola Davis, and is about a African American man who raises his family in the 1950s, but also in this movie deals with a lot of hardships, and to say the least, there is a lot of stuff that goes down in this movie. Yeah, it's one of those kinds of films. Well, coming into this movie, I heard a lot of great things about it, of course. Denzel Washington, I heard that he directed the movie and also did a Broadway show for it too beforehand, so I was pretty excited because I love Denzel Washington, and what else can I say about that? But the first thing I really can say about this movie is that I absolutely think that the performances are by far the best all around in a movie I've seen this entire year. Every single person in this movie gives their absolute 100% throughout the entire movie. There are absolutely no problems with any performance in this movie. I do, in fact, believe that Denzel and Viola both deserve to get nominated at this year's Oscars. They were absolutely terrific and probably the best performances I've seen given by any single person in this entire year. And also what their performances added to this movie was a lot of realism, and it really helped show what the 1950s were like for African Americans and the hardships that they had to deal with back then. And honestly, that's probably my favorite part about this entire movie. The performances are so strong that they make this movie for what it is. Though there are problems with this movie that I have, and I think part of the reason is because I did not grow up in the 1950s, of course. I grew up in the 90s and early 2000s, so things weren't really all that relatable to me. I'd say they're more relatable to people that grew up in that time and understand those times better than somebody like me. There are a lot of moments in this movie that add a ton of emotion, especially the scenes involving Denzel Washington and his son, who is also terrific in this movie. And those scenes were honestly my favorite parts of the entire movie. Whenever those two were on screen together, I felt that's when the movie was at its strongest. I also like some of the plot twists that we went through in this movie. It definitely brought more depth into the characters. A few things I have to touch points on. The beginning of the movie, it was like a long talking scene between a couple of characters, and I did not really think it needed to be that long at all. It was just overly too long, I thought, and unfortunately, that's how I felt most of this movie went. Most of the movie, while great acting, I felt like most of these scenes were just talking and not much was going on with the actual story. It was more just talking about characters in the movie. Didn't really progress all that much of the story though. And also, I wouldn't say there's really a plot to this movie. The movie itself is more just your modern 1950s movie with a great cast and great acting, but there really isn't that much story here, which is another reason why I wasn't the biggest fan. And there are also a plethora of intense moments in this movie. As you could see in the trailer, this movie has a lot of those moments, and that gave a lot more life to me in this movie. Also, the chemistry between Denzel Washington and Stephen Henderson is absolutely incredible. These two seem like they were friends for an entire lifetime, and that's probably the best friendship I've seen portrayed on screen this entire year. So Fences, it's a movie I can't really personally relate to. I do think though that people from the ages of 40 and all the way up there, I think they'll love this movie. It's a movie they all can relate to a lot more than me, and I think many critics are around that age and they love this movie just as much as all of them. For me personally though, it was not one of my favorites. I do think it's a very good movie though, filled with excellent performances, especially given by Denzel and Viola Davis. They both, I think, deserve to be nominated this year. Everyone else in this entire cast gave their A+ performances throughout the entire film, and I think that's the best part of the movie Fences. Not really the story. I felt the story was not all that investing for me. I also think that there was a lot of more downtime in this movie where there was a lot of talking, so it wasn't all that investing to me. But I think for a lot of other people, this movie will be certainly a delight for many. So for my grade, I am thinking about giving it a 78%. Okay, that's my personal grading. It's not one of the best movies I've seen this year. I do think it's a lot better than most other movies I've seen this entire year. But I think for a lot of other people, that grade will probably be in the upper 90s to mid 90s and anywhere in the 80s. I think a lot of people will really enjoy this movie and it'll be really highly rated, especially right now on Rotten Tomatoes. It is currently at 94%. So there you go. There's the critics review, and certainly I'm sure a lot of people will really appreciate this movie and really enjoy it. Okay, and that is 2016 for you guys. It has been one long year, but that is the last review I have for this entire year. Wow, I can't believe the year is already over. I just started back in May and it flew right by. And this is also unfortunate because I did not get to review Silence or Gold or Patriots Day or even The Founder. Those were some of the movies I was really looking forward to reviewing for 2016, especially Silence. That is the movie I really wanted to see, and I think that could have potentially been my #1 movie of the year. But unfortunately, it is not playing anywhere near me right now, and it'll have to wait until 2017. That's a huge bummer for me. I'll just have to work with what I have. And also this week, expect on Thursday to see the video of my top 10 2015 movies. Yes, instead of doing my top 10 worst movies of 2016, I'm just going to do my top 10 movies of 2015 for you guys. And also on Friday, expect my video for top 10 movies of 2016. I hope you guys all enjoyed my reviews for this entire year. I am putting a lot of work into these reviews, trying to see as many movies as possible. Look for that to continue next year, and I promise I will always be here making reviews after reviews all year long. Go out there and tell all your friends to subscribe to SvenSulley, and also if you have some YouTube friends, tell them to give me a shout out. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys had a great 2016 and have a fantastic day.